average American drinks 2 cups of coffee a day, and the average Starbucks visitor would rather Instagram their coffee than drink it. Caffeine is everyone's favorite addiction. There's just one problem. Caffeine addictions aren't really addictions. Here's what actually happens. This is a brain cell, also called a neuron. These branch-looking things are called dendrites, and the arms at the other end are called axon terminals. Neurons communicate with each other when the axon terminals of one cell come together with the dendrites of another. This little space in between them is called a synapse. If we look a little closer, you can see these little orange things. They're called receptors. Receptors are how neurons are able to send each other signals. See, when molecules float around in the synapse, they bump into receptors and bind to them, and then the receptors send out a signal to the rest of the cell. Caffeine affects the receptor for a molecule called adenosine, and when adenosine binds to its receptor, it makes you feel tired. But it turns out that caffeine and adenosine have really similar structures. So when you drink coffee, the caffeine binds the receptors instead of adenosine, and the receptors can't tell the rest of you to feel tired. The problem is that now your body's confused. It thinks it isn't getting enough adenosine signals, so it starts making more receptors so that adenosine can start binding again. But now you have to consume even more caffeine to block all those receptors, which means your body makes more of them, so you have to drink more coffee. And pretty soon you're drinking coffee all day just to stay awake. That seems kind of like an addiction. But real addiction is much more complicated.